All right. So I showed you why when you're storing information that you want to access by name, why an object might be better. Because I showed you that if you rearrange the information, then it can get put into the wrong order when you do an array destructuring. Whereas when you destructure an object, they are already assigned by name, and therefore you're not going to pull them out in the wrong order. First name isn't going to end up with alias inside of it. Well, storing objects in arrays is something we fairly commonly want to do. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to uncopy this array. I'm sorry, uncomment this array. Okay, so I have an array. It has arrays in it. That's not what I want. I actually want this array to have objects in it. Well, and I kind of want them to look like this. Well, fortunately, there is a built-in method to do it. And this is the last array method that I'll cover for now. So the way this works is we can say justice, let new justice league equal justice league dot map. Here, it takes a function. Do you remember when I made you write a function called apply to array, where it took in a function that you wanted to apply and it applied it to the entire array to make changes to the array? Well, I'm sorry. Confession time. That already existed. It's called the map function. I made you write it because I wanted you to get experience with functions and looping and arrays, but it actually already exists. It's called the map function. So what map does is it says, give me a function and I will apply it to every single item in this array. Well, let's write that function. It's going to take in a value, which is going to be an item in the array. So in this case, I'm going to call each item in this array is a list, and each list is a superhero. So I'm going to say, let's take a superhero out of the array. And then I'm going to write a lambda function. Because it's going to be on multiple lines, I'm going to use curly braces. So now I'm writing a function. Hopefully you recognize this syntax for writing a function. And what do I want to do? Well, I want to destructure that superhero. So I'm going to say let first, last, alias, num, villains equal the superhero. Okay, then I want to turn that into an object. So I'm going to say let superhero object equal, and then I'm going to do curly braces, and I'm going to say first name, and I'm going to put in first right here, and then I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to say last name, and I'm going to store last, and then I'm going to say alias, and I'm going to put in this alias right here, and then I'm going to say num villains caught, and I'm going to store this num villains variable. Okay, that creates an object, but we want to put that object into the new array that we're creating. So in order to do that, we write return. And what are we returning? We're returning the superhero object. So let's save this. And I'm going to console.log our new Justice League. If we save it and we come over to our console, we reload our page. Okay, if we hover over our Justice League, it has a bunch of arrays in it. And it took superhero out of the array. Superhero was one array with Clark, Kent, Superman, and 12. Now we're going to destructure that array. So now it put Clark into first, Kent into last, alias into Superman, and number of villains into 12. Now we're going to create a superhero object out of that. If we hit next, our superhero object has 4 definitions and 4 values. We call these keys and we call these values. So alias is storing Superman, first name is storing Clark, last name is storing Kent, and num villains caught is storing 12. Now we're going to return that object. And we're going to start over. So now we've pulled in the second item, which is Bruce Wayne Batman. And I am going to speed this up and go until this next breakpoint. So I'm going to remove this breakpoint and hit continue. Once we're done, if we look at our new Justice League, it is storing a bunch of objects. No longer is it storing a bunch of arrays, it's storing objects. which means we can pull things out of those objects by name. To test this out, let's go to the console. I'm going to copy the name of our new array. So I'm going to paste it here, say new Justice League at the 0 position, and let's just hit enter. And you can hopefully see here that it is an object with first name Clark, last name Kent, alias Superman, number of villains caught 12. So if I say new Justice League at the 0 position dot first name, it should print out Clark. Sure enough, there it is. If we print out dot alias, we can see that it's Superman. So what we could do is we can now loop through this Justice League array and then print out everything by dot first name, dot last name, dot alias, and dot num villain Scott. And so what you can see is we were able to successfully apply a function to this Justice League array to create a new array that's been adjusted. So we took in an array filled with arrays. We took in each array, converted it into an object, and put it into the new array. The new array is here. So .map takes in a function, applies it to an entire array, and creates a new array that you can store. And that covers our video on .map.